Playing the game of life. I say playing the game because you can parallel our physical reality on Earth to playing an actual video game on a PlayStation or Xbox or any other type of video game console, because you are not just your body. A lot of people buy into the idea that they are just their physical body. They believe that they are separate from others. They don't believe that they are one with everything. So they don't see this as something to take lighthearted. They take everything so seriously. Like, you need to just work your life away and you can't enjoy this life, and it has to be something that is just stressful and hard, and you have to live the way your parents lived and your grandparents lived, and there's no other way of living life. But I have a connection to my soul. I have a connection to my higher self, whatever you want to call it, that I've had many lifetimes here on earth. And I know that this is a chance for me to treat this physical reality as the same way I would playing a video game. For example, when you die in a video game or something really bad happens in a video game, do you see it as the end of the world and that you need to freak out and it's time to just go into this negative state? Or do you say, oh, this is just a video game, I can enjoy this experience for what it is without taking it so seriously, without feeling like it's a life or death situation? A lot of people think that in this physical reality on earth, that if they die, it's somehow like so scary and it's so negative and it's so bad. And that's because of the conditioning that we've had around death. Because the truth is, you never really actually die. You may die as a human on earth. You won't be on this physical plane where people can see you, but you're still going to exist because you are inherently an eternal being. So if you're an eternal being, if at your core you are purely consciousness and you're indestructible, it doesn't matter if you quote unquote die on earth, because you're still going to exist in spirit. You're still going to exist in another realm. So playing the game of life, the more that I expand my consciousness, the more that the days go by, I realize how much I see this human experience as a game. And it's not in the sense that I treat this so nonchalantly that I don't care about it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the more that the days go by, I release the density of 3D consciousness, where it's all limitation, lack, separation, fear-based reality. I gotta save up all my money. I gotta do all these things that I don't want to do. I gotta care about other people's judgments. I gotta make sure that I don't die. I gotta do all this stuff. You know, I'm releasing that and I'm going into a lighter version of my human experience on earth, to where I can really enjoy everything for what it is. Everything, because I realize how perfect everything is, as I talked about in my last YouTube video. Everything is so perfect. And when you realize that, you can start to see the beauty in absolutely everything. An exercise that you can do that I heard from, I believe I heard this from Sarah Landon, is just the exercise of, for 24 hours or for one whole day straight, just see everything as sacred. Or my version is, see everything as perfect. Everything. So when you go to work, see that as perfect. When you talk to your boss, see that as perfect. When you're in traffic, see that as perfect. When you go to the gym, see that as perfect. When you encounter a rude customer, see that as perfect. When you're taking a shower, see that as perfect. Like, every single possible thing that you can imagine that you maybe have resistance to, or that you feel like is not enjoyable, try to see everything as perfect, because it truly is. When you realize that we are all one, you realize how divinely and beautifully orchestrated absolutely everything is. Because if you are an awakened person here on earth, And by awakened, I don't mean like you're like fully transcended and like embodying God consciousness. It can mean that, but it could also just mean that you have seen the way other people live and you decide to not live that way, which is okay, they're embodying 3D consciousness and I don't prefer that. I've seen what that is and I want to start going about it a different way. So awaken could just mean the fact that if you're interested in watching this video, by default, I know that you're awakened. So don't put it like, a lot of people think to be awakened, you need to have like 10 years of spiritual experiences and do ayahuasca and do these meditation retreats, which is not true. I haven't done any meditation retreats or any ayahuasca, but I know for a fact I am awakened. But anyways, back to my point about when you realize how we're all one, if you truly knew that we're all one, you wouldn't have resistance to the people that trigger you, whether that be your boss, your partner, a friend of yours, whoever it is. If they're triggering you, know that if it wasn't for that person, you would not have become awakened yourself. If it wasn't for all the quote unquote fucked up negative things that happened in your life, all the unpreferred ways of living that you've experienced in your life, from your parents. I'm so thankful for my parents because this might sound rude, but they showed me exactly how I don't want to live my life. I don't want to live in fear. I don't want to have anxiety all day. I don't want to see everything as a big problem. I don't want to feel like money is scarce. I don't want to numb my feelings with drugs and alcohol. I don't want to do all these things. So I'm so grateful for my parents and anyone else that has triggered me or showed me ways of living that I don't prefer, because without them, I wouldn't have gotten so clear on a life that I want to live. But if it wasn't for those people, you yourself would not be awakened. You would not be watching this video. You wouldn't want to be looking at living your life a different way. Again, going back to the theme of this video, playing the game of life. I am living my life in a way to where I do the things that I want to do. I do the things that I love. The reason why I'm filming this video is because I want to film this video. No one is telling me, hey, you better film this video. I'm telling myself, I know I want to make this video. It's exciting for me to make this video, so I'm going to make this video. And whatever comes of it, comes of it. There is no insistence on an outcome here because I'm truly doing what lights me up. I'm truly doing what excites me. And that in itself is a joyful experience. Rather than going to a job that I don't prefer, taking an action that I don't necessarily prefer just that I can acquire money so I can pay my bills. I would rather act on the things that I truly want to do so I can have a joyful experience of my life, rather than taking an action from a fear-based place to acquire money so I can pay for something. It is a totally different way of living, and it's something that my parents and people around me don't understand, which is totally understandable. I just wanted to make this video playing the game of life so that you can start to see this more like a video game, like a first-person point of view, very realistic video game. Because as Bashar says, your experience of this is very real. Don't get that twisted. Even though this is technically your own simulation, your own illusion, your own dream, it is still very much real. Your experience of it is real. Now, is it actually like solidly real? No, nothing is actually really solid. As I've said before, science proves this, with atoms being made of 99.99% empty space or energy. So nothing is actually really solid. This is more of like a hologram than that you might believe. So see it that way. Start to lighten up on yourself. Start to see the beauty in everything. Start to see how you chose this, how everything is divinely orchestrated, and start to live a life that you actually enjoy. Start playing the game of life and actually have fun, because I heard this, I think yesterday, and it's so true. The most spiritual thing you can do is have fun. And if you're caught in spiritual ego of judging others, that's not what they believe. They believe, I need to read 10 books on spirituality. I need to meditate every single day. I need to post that I'm doing all these spiritual retreats, and I need to take ayahuasca. I need to check off all the spiritual boxes, which is not true. You can go through that phase, which is totally fine. I feel like everyone has. But you can go to a level beyond that where your life can just be fun. And if you feel called to meditate or read books or go on retreats or take ayahuasca, that's fine. But if you feel like you're forcing yourself to take those actions just so you can be spiritual, take some time to look at that. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, subscribe and follow my Instagram because I do post there daily at Aries the Leader, and I will see you in the next video.